Hi, my name is Casey Renshaw, and this is my Literacy Comprehensive Project for Literacy Assessment and Interventions. I really enjoyed this class. I was very hesitant at the beginning. I was not looking forward to this class just because I want to be a middle school math teacher, and so literacy is definitely not one of my favorite subjects. And so I wasn't really looking forward to tutoring a student and making these lesson plans, but I actually ended up really enjoying the class while making these lesson plans and meeting with my student via Zoom. And so I'm going to talk about some of the things I learned, what I enjoyed about this class, and things like that. So the first thing that I liked about this class was all of the lesson plans that we had to do. At first, it did seem like a lot, but they definitely did get easier as the semester went on. And so the first thing I really liked about it is how it emphasized assessments. You put all of the different assessments that you were going to assess the student on, and then you had to explain why you were using it, which I really liked, especially because I want to be a math teacher. I know that I'm going to be assessing the students a lot, and with these lesson plans, I was able to look at a lot of different ways to assess students rather than just a pencil and paper test, like writing a paragraph or writing an essay, different things like that I was able to do, and so I really liked exploring those. But like I said, I did like um, choosing the assessments and having to state why I picked them, because it really made me think, like, what is the student gaining from these assessments and why am I choosing to assess them this way? And so I liked that, and I liked having to write, like, based on the assessment results, um, what I'm going to look for. And then I also liked the instructional activities, having to choose like different activities and strategies that I was going to do throughout the lesson plan. I liked that. And I really liked exploring the accommodations. I liked that you chose it for different types of students, like English as a second language students, students with disabilities like ADHD. I liked having to choose accommodations for each of those and explore all of those. And then I liked having to integrate the content areas. I liked integrating the other literacy standards into it and then a completely different topic, just because I think that's very helpful in all lesson plans to make sure that you include different content areas because it's so easy to integrate it and it's so beneficial to the students. And then I also liked the peer evaluations. I liked looking over I liked looking over my classmates' lesson plans and seeing how they differed or how they were similar to mine. And then I also really liked seeing the critiques that my classmates made on mine so that I could see like what I did well in and what I could definitely improve on the next lesson plan. And then I liked tutoring via Zoom. I was skeptical at first because I hadn't really worked with Zoom. Last semester, all of my classes, or none of them, were Zoom. And so this is the first semester I ever worked with it. And so I was hesitant, but I ended up really liking it. And I realized that getting this experience was very helpful because most likely in the future I will have to at some point teach on Zoom. I'll be student teaching in the spring. I'm hoping that I will be able to just teach in the classroom, but I know that there's a good chance at some point I will be teaching students via Zoom. And so I thought that this was really good experience. I'm getting to know Zoom and getting a feel of like what the student was going to be like through the camera instead of face to face. And then I also really liked doing the attendance chart and grade sheet. It made me feel like a real teacher, keeping track of all that. And I'm a very organized person, and so I really liked keeping track of all that and having that written down. And then I also really liked testing the student on all of those things and the strategies that were included in each of the modules, like the QAR, annotating, echo reading, and reader's theater. A lot of those I had done when I was younger in like elementary school. I know that in high school my teachers really started emphasizing annotating, but I know like echo reading and reader's theater I did when I was younger in elementary school, and I really liked it. And then the testing, I don't remember getting a lot of those done when I was in school. I know like the Dibbles, um, that's one thing I do remember from elementary school is sitting and having to read through passages and answer questions with my teacher. So I do remember that, but like the other ones, like the QPS and the past assessments, I liked being able to give those to my student and assessor, just to get that practice because I'll most likely have to do it in the future. So I did like that. And then one thing I loved about this course was how many resources were in Blackboard. There were more resources than I could even think that I needed. I really liked the interest inventory tab that had like what the student likes and ways to find out that information and the motivation. And so I really liked that. It had resources for like books that you can use, different strategies, reading activities, the different vocabulary words like sight and high frequency. It had a whole list of words like that. I did look around at the apps and technology and the Florida research site, and so I liked all of those. I think that all of these resources are extremely helpful, and I have definitely saved a bunch to my desktop for the future. And then overall, what I learned in this class, I learned a lot, and I really did enjoy it. One of the biggest things was that I learned that I need to know my students' interests. If I don't do something that is relatable to my students, they are not going to be as engaged. And I learned that real quick with my student. When she was not engaged, I knew that it was most likely because she was not interested in what we were learning about, or I didn't make it more relatable enough to her. And so that is one big thing, is that you need to learn your students' interests and what motivates them to get them engaged and get them learning and cooperating. And then I also learned about the different ways to assess students, which I really enjoyed, coming up with those different ways to assess students, like I said earlier. And so I really liked that. I liked how it emphasized like pre-tests, testing them beforehand so they know what they're going to be learning, and then doing a post-test to see how much they've gained, how much knowledge they've gained. I learned that there's different vocabulary tiers. I had no idea. I've made a lot of lesson plans in my last 4 years, and I didn't know that there were different tiers. And so I learned about the basic, high frequency, and low frequency. And then I learned what a great resource the Florida research site is. I have been looking through that all over, and I think it's an amazing resource, and I had no idea that it even existed until this class, and so I'm really glad that I know that, because I think it's definitely going to help me in the future. But this is just a few things that I learned in this class, and so that is pretty much it. But I really did enjoy taking this class, and I enjoyed getting to know my student that I tutored and kind of getting that real life experience. And I think that this was a very helpful class with the lesson plans and the tutoring, especially with COVID this next semester when I'm student teaching. I think it was great experience getting to make these lesson plans, doing it virtual. So that is it.